What's up and welcome to an episode of Gizmo Slip. Today we're talking about the iPhone 11 versus the iPhone 12. Which of these two mid-tier priced iPhones is better? And it's a pretty good time to buy the iPhone 11 as well due to the price reduction because of the iPhone 12 launch. We're going to be comparing all of the available features and everything that we know about these two phones to help you decide which phone is the better buy, or which one is better for you in particular, because they're both pretty solid choices in my opinion. That said, there are tons of new features on the iPhone 12 that are very interesting, and some are going to be more worthwhile for most people, while others are kind of like, why would I even care about that? So we're going to go over all of the differences between these two phones. Let's get started. Now I gotta give a big shout out to Casetify for sponsoring this episode and sending over this dummy iPhone 12 Pro. Don't worry, the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 have the exact same external dimensions, but they will have different colors available for the iPhone 12 versus the 12 Pro, and of course there's only 2 cameras on the back instead of 3. Now Casetify was kind enough to send over this care package with a bunch of goodies in it. Let's check it out. Dun dun dun! Undo this bow. The big reveal. Boom. So we've got a bunch of different case types here. We've got this camo gray one. Anyone know what this is? Like the whole fragile? Then we got the generic one right here that's kind of a clear back. That one's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and pop the dummy model in here. Boom, see what this looks like with the case on it. I really love the quality of these cases. You can tell they're made from good materials. They're stylish. They offer tons of different variety and designs. They have an antimicrobial coating, and they offer some of the best drop protection in any cases out there. Now, the nice thing about the iPhone 12 is the front does have the ceramic coating, but unfortunately the back is still glass, which means it is still susceptible to breaking, which makes a case like this very viable. And the great thing about these cases is that they're made from recycled plastic, so 2 thumbs up. Now, Casetify offers cases for both the iPhone 11 as well as the 12. There is a link in the video description down below if you want to pick up one of these awesome cases. And again, big shout out and thank you to Casetify for helping support Gizmo Slip. Hurrah! Let's get on with this comparison. Here we go. So how much are these iPhones going to cost you? Well, with the iPhone 12 launch, the iPhone 11 price has been reduced by $100 down to $599, while the iPhone 12 launches for $799. Now, both of the phones come with 64 gigs base storage and goes all the way up to 256 gigs. If you want more space than that, you're going to have to go to one of the Pro models. Let's talk about design. In my opinion, the iPhone 12 is more stylish with those classy corners and sharp edges, but the iPhone 11 is just a little bit more comfy to hold in your hand. What are all these special new features in the iPhone 12? First of all, you've got 5G compatibility on the iPhone 12. Now, obviously, the vast majority of people will not have great 5G coverage near them. That said, 5G coverage is coming to a city near you, or maybe even your own city, and you will want a 5G phone at some point. So what that means is that 5G is not so much an essential feature as it is a future-proofing feature, which is really nice, I think. Now, one of my favorite new features of the iPhone 12 is the MagSafe or magnets that they've embedded into the back of the phone. This is going to allow you to use all kinds of MagSafe accessories like wallets, or allow your phone to snap to wireless charging. And the other cool thing that a lot of people aren't thinking about is, depending on how strong the magnets are, you might actually be able to use the phone after the wireless charger has snapped to the back, because you can actually hold it in your hand with the wireless charger still on there, allowing you to essentially use the phone while it's charging, which normally you can't do with wireless charging. Now, Apple has made their front display covered in ceramic shield, is what they're calling it. It's like their new special ultra clear material that's supposed to be 4 times more shatter resistant. We will have to see about that. I will be doing a drop test. That said, the iPhone 11 glass is quite strong. It did pretty well in my drop test last year, and I'm really curious to see how the new iPhone 12 ceramic shield does in my drop test. That said, you do have a glass back on the iPhone 12, so this is still going to be more fragile, or just as fragile as last year. Very likely to crack on a direct impact on sharp concrete, which of course makes getting a case still an attractive option, but at least the front glass should be more durable. Now, both the iPhone 11 and 12 feature IP68 water and dust resistance, but the iPhone 12 is rated to 6 meters in the water instead of only 2 meters in the water for 30 minutes. So that's an advantage to the iPhone 12 as well. Now, when it comes to colors and customization, you have 5 colors with the iPhone 12: blue, green, red, white, and black. With the iPhone 11, you actually get 6 colors: purple, yellow, green, black, white, and red. Color, in my opinion, is a pretty minor thing, but if any of these colors in particular stand out to you, then maybe you'll be more drawn to one or the other. I don't know. Now, when it comes to displays, this is another area where we have a significant upgrade. The iPhone 12 features an OLED display with a much higher resolution of 2532 by 1170 with 460 pixels per inch, while the iPhone 11 uses an LCD display that has a resolution of 1792 by 828 pixels with 326 pixels per inch. Now, both of the displays are rated for 625 nits under normal usage, though with the OLED you can have select pixels peak brightness go up to 1200 nits, whereas with the LCD you just can't have that level of peak brightness, and that is a big part of why the contrast ratio is so much better on the OLED as well. You have these really bright pixels, and then with an OLED panel you can also have deep black pixels, allowing for much better contrast, especially if you're trying to watch like movies in your bed late at night with the phone brightness down a little bit. You can get that true black look on your movies. Now, as far as the pixel density goes, under normal usage, when you're using the phone, let's say like about a foot away from your face, you're not going to really notice the increased pixel density at all. But if you're someone who likes to hold your phone fairly close to your face and you have good eyesight, that's when you're going to notice the additional pixels per inch. Now, one great improvement for the iPhone 12 is that despite having the exact same 6.1 inch size display, Apple has shrunk the overall size of the device by 15%. So what about the internal processor? Now, with the iPhone 12, we have the A14 Bionic, Apple's latest chip based on a 5nm process, and with the iPhone 11, we have the A13 Bionic based on a 7nm process. Now, that is a significant upgrade in terms of efficiency, allowing for additional performance at the same power levels, and for sure the A14 is going to be the faster processor. That said, the A13 Bionic was no slouch. It still is no slouch. It's still faster than any Android phone out there, which is kind of crazy. So what that means is the iPhone 11 is basically an insanely fast phone still, and really in day-to-day performance, I highly doubt any users are going to notice much of a difference. That said, if you're someone who likes to edit and render 4K video clips on your phone, that's where you're going to notice a significant difference. And you also might notice a difference if you play lots of games, because the GPU is a bit more powerful in the iPhone 12. So if you play games that really push the graphical performance of the phone to the max, I'm thinking something like Fortnite, that kind of game, you're going to be able to probably notice a difference in frame rate. As far as most users are concerned, I think the primary thing related to the processor is just future-proofing for as long as possible. The A14 is just going to last you a little bit longer because it's just a little bit higher performance processor. So what about battery life between these two phones? Well, Apple rates these two phones very, very close, both at 17 hours for video playback and 11 hours for the iPhone 12 with video streaming, and 10 hours for the iPhone 11 with video streaming. So it's almost identical in terms of battery life, but the iPhone 12 has slightly more battery life when doing certain things, perhaps probably due to the new, more efficient A14 Bionic. Not sure. Or maybe the OLED display. It's hard to say. Slightly better battery life in the iPhone 12. So what about the cameras on the iPhone 11 and 12? Well, the good news here is that they are almost identical with a handful of changes and improvements on the iPhone 12. We still have 2 cameras on the back and of course the forward front-facing camera. For the cameras on the back, we have one ultra-wide and one wide camera, both 12 megapixels. First of all, the aperture has been increased, allowing for more light into the ultra-wide camera from an aperture of 1.8 to 1.6. This is going to give us improved low light performance, probably night photos as well. And then we also have the fact that we now have Deep Fusion, which is Apple's improved photo processing, available on all 3 cameras on the iPhone 12. Whereas with the iPhone 11, that Deep Fusion is only available on the primary wide sensor. So that means you're just going to get slightly more detail and fine texture most likely, but it's probably going to be really hard to notice unless you're looking at like side-by-side photos, but even then, maybe not. I don't know. We will not know entirely for sure until we get some side-by-side camera tests done. Another new feature for the iPhone 12 camera is the Dolby HDR video recording mode, which should, in theory, allow for slightly poppier colors in video recording. Now, arguably the biggest improvement for the camera from the iPhone 11 to the 12 is that the primary sensor, the wide camera on the back, will get 27% more light to the sensor, which is going to help improve low light photos and night photos. So that's really nice. All of that to say, the cameras on these two phones are very similar. I feel like if I were to rate them, the iPhone 12 is just going to be slightly better than the iPhone 11, so not a big deal in my book. The iPhone 12 Pro Max actually has a much better camera. So if you're someone that wants the best possible camera in their iPhone, the iPhone 12 Pro Max actually has some noticeable upgrades over the iPhone 12 this year. So in conclusion, if you're on a budget, the iPhone 11 is a solid choice. It has the vast majority of features and will be a very good phone for many years to come. That said, with the iPhone 12, with its 5G modem, higher resolution OLED display, the improved camera, the more durable ceramic display, the faster A14 Bionic processor, and the convenience of the MagSafe magnetic back, all of those features add up to the iPhone 12 being a more future-proof phone, one that you will not feel the need to upgrade from as quickly, which I think is a big advantage. I think a lot of iPhone users tend to keep their phone on average 4 to 5 or 6 years, and 4 or 5 years from now, I guarantee you, you're going to want a 5G phone, and that makes the iPhone 12 that much more attractive. So in my book, if I was buying one and I had the money, I'd go for the iPhone 12. If I was more strict on my budget, I would go for the iPhone 11 because the differences aren't that great in terms of current usability. That's it for my comparison between the iPhone 11 and 12. I hope it was helpful for you in deciding which iPhone is the right one for you. Now, if you want to know more information about all of the different iPhone models, I made a complete overview video, which will be linked at the end of this video. And of course, I will be drop testing the iPhone 12 when it launches here in a few weeks. So if you want to be sure not to miss out on that video, you'll want to hit that subscribe button and tap that notification bell and mark it to all. Otherwise, the YouTube algorithm has complete control over whether or not you even see that my video exists. I will see you in the next one. Brandon out. Kwacha.